We have not addressed those things in education. We seem to sort of want to put them behind us. The tax structure in this state is in dire need of reform. And instead of putting the horse before the cart, we're putting the cart before the horse. We don't want to reform our tax structure in this state. And what we keep doing is that we keep adding, and I'm just as responsible as anyone else in this room, because tax credits have come before my subcommittee. We keep giving tax credits to everybody for good reason, and not that they're undue and should not be warranted, but we are giving them without looking at what they're doing to the tax structure in the state of South Carolina. We had a track commission, and whether you agree with them or not, that report is sitting on the shelf gathering dust right now, because we're not willing, we don't have the will to push forward on tax reform in this state. But we keep adding to it. We keep adding to it from year to year and digging the hole that much deeper. Yes, choice is good for all parents and all students. And I have nothing against tax credits for parents who are paying their monies in a district and choosing to send their child somewhere else, whether it's across the district line for a better education, or whether it's to a private or public or parochial school, or choosing to homeschool their children. But I think that we are treading on quicksand when we continue, whether it be this or any other piece of legislation that adds tax credits and tax load to a tax structure that is suffering. There is only one taxpayer in this state. That is you and I and all the people we represent. Those people are who are hurting from a tax structure that really needs to be reformed and looked at from head to toe. With that said, I'd like to table this amendment, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Ms. Allison moves to table amendment number 1. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Amendment number 1 is tabled. Amendment number 2, Mr. White. All members have a copy of the amendment, Mr. White.
It's pretty straight up amendment. We talked with a lot of folks with the choice and kind of agreed to this because I think the whole thing says it will save money for public education, and basically it's just it sunsets the act. Within 5 years, there is no savings anticipated pursuant to choice.
Any questions from Mr. White? Hearing none, Mr. White moves to adopt amendment number 2. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Simmel.
Mr. Chairman, move the previous question.
Mr. Simmel moves the previous question. All right, since nobody's actually speaking on an amendment at this point, we only need a simple majority for that. So
Wait a
all in,
minute. Mr. Chairman, is nobody speaking on the amendment? Can we?
well, I haven't recognized anybody on anything else, Mr. Anthony,
Okay.
at this point. So it requires a simple majority of the committee to the vote closure. So, all in favor of moving the previous question, Mr. Simmel's motion, raise your hand. Cloture is invoked. All right, we got 3 minutes for and 3 minutes against on each amendment. We only got one amendment left, so that's about 6 minutes of discussion. Total, for or against, and then all right, then, so we have an hour for, an hour against on the bill total time. For debate, Beverly's gonna keep time, since we don't have a sophisticated clock like the clerk does on the floor of the house. When you get to 2 minutes, she's gonna hold up a red card, so you'll know that you got 2 minutes left for that.
On our amendments, the
Right.
explanation of our amendments.
That includes the explanation.
Explanation too?
Yes, sir. There's just one.
One more, and we cloture them.
Mr. Smith. Hour per,
10 minutes per individual.
that's right. Only, and members can only speak 10 minutes each. I think there's a line in there.
And then the bill itself is what, 3 minutes?
No, sir, it's an hour total,
Total,
4
3 minutes.
hour total, yes. So each member only be able to speak 10 minutes. Yes, sir. Okay. Amendment number 3, Mr. Anthony.
Let me talk fast if I can.
Taking it out yet? Let's get that. Okay,
I think they did.
everybody got a copy of it?
Hey, Mike, make sure you lock it.
Don't talk the clock, all right.
Everybody, okay. All right, if every member's got a copy, Mr. Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just feel very strongly that if we could do something in a way that we could, and by the way, Ms. Anita, it was well said, so it's kind of covers a bunch of what I feel about it. But if I could do something that was very similar to our Pell grants, I think at the federal level. And I could even, choice is a broad word here, and we've got quite a number of choices right now. In fact, Chairman Bingham and Ms. Allison and I worked very hard on the governor's school. We worked very hard on providing, in this budget session, a tough time. The chairman came up with some things that were really innovative to try to help that along with our state superintendent. Do you realize that our state superintendent has not signed off on this, and I'm the only sitting Democrat in here today. I mean, so you guys understand, your guys are not signing off on this bill either, so even though we may get raises today if we get this out of Ways and Means. Limits provisions, what my bill does, or what my amendment does, is students in failing schools only, students with disabilities, students and parents whose combined income is at or below the federal poverty level. Students will be eligible for the scholarships under the provision their parents may then take a tax credit not to exceed 50% from the BSC or 50% of state revenue to district divided by the average daily membership for tuition. That's a situation where the average daily membership will come in, as the number of kids there. This is the amendment, and look forward to talking my 10 minutes.
You still got one more minute.
All right, good. I want to make sure that I get something else said. Isn't it ironic, Ms. Allison, that we're sitting here today talking about this, and our students grades 3 through 8 are taking a PASS test. And we are looking at the opportunity to, in the next, 13 years, almost break this state. Up to $2 billion could be lost if this passes. I mean, I am, it's beyond, we have worked hard to give people choices in our public schools. We have single gender, we have Montessori, we have virtual, the charter schools, as I mentioned a minute ago. Guys, I'm telling you, we have worked very, very, very hard in the public domain to do this. Now, we're educating 700,000 children. You private schoolers are educating 65,000.
Mr. Anthony,
Time's up.
sorry.
Thank you, by the way, Mr. Semmel, for this.
Mr. Huggins?
Am I allowed to ask a question?
His 3 minutes are up, so I'd say no.
Okay. Well, then that answers that question.
Mr. Keller,
Am I allowed to speak on the amendment?
are you speaking for or against?
Both?
Well, the time to speak for is used up, so
Well,
you're
then I'll
not speaking
speak
against. I'm sure that people will be listening to make sure you're actually opposed to the amendment. And they'll,
Okay, I'm opposed to the amendment. And I'm gonna vote against it. I'm also opposed to the blatant display of arrogance that has been shown in here today by invoking cloture when we haven't even had any appreciable debate whatsoever on it. If you want to go home, get up and leave. If you're afraid of debate, then why don't you just say so? But I just don't like this at all. This is a significant bill, and it deserves to be debated, and this is just a blatant display of arrogance on the part of those who voted to invoke cloture so that we can't have any debate. That's all I've got to say.
okay. Anyone else wishing to speak against the amendment? If not, I assume Mr. Anthony moves to adopt amendment number 3.
Thank you. Now, my time's up.
All right, all in favor of adoption of amendment number 3, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Noes have it, amendment 3 is
Clean,
not
coming
adopted.
out clean, huh?
The,
Go ahead.
any question and answers, the bill as adopted, and it is up for discussion
Oh, yeah.
as amended. Mr. Anthony, you for or against?
Might be for it, but I'm probably against it. I'm against it.
Okay.
Could I ask staff, Emily,
One second.
I want definitely 10, please, sir.
All right.
Could I ask that, if you would, Emily, to pass this out? I want you to, you start me now?
Yeah.
All right, I want you guys to see that the educators did not do this to our schools. If you're so much opposed to public schools, I want you to understand who has affected public schools. Litigators, Doug, I see you over there, adjudicators, and legislators are the ones. Educators are they're no longer in charge of the schools. Those 3 segments, I taught for 38 years, and we did not take prayer out of the schools, guys. We didn't do it. The educators had no say in it. And we're the ones that's getting beat up, and beat up, and beat up, over and over, and it goes all the way back to a lot of stuff. I want you to look at what, you talk about accountability, that in this bill it says that we're going to be accountable. I've heard these folks talking, yeah, we'll take all the accountability. Look at the side by side. On the left side, you'll see the choice, the private schools, things that are going to be required of them. Let's look at the curriculum and the course requirements. Look at what the public schools have right now. 24 units. Did educators do that? Legislators did that. Did we forced all this down their throats and set up here all high and mighty now, and we're willing to continue not to fund them. Right now, we're supposed to be funding about $2,600 per child. And what are we funding? $1,788. So you look at what we require. We even had a PE bill. Do y'all remember? Since I've been here 9 years, we had a PE bill that we passed that requires a lot of stuff going. Government econ, that's in U.S. history, those have been there ever since all of us were there. And I want to ask you another thing. Raise your hands if you don't mind, those who were educated in the public schools. Did they kill?